that the Obama administration may have monitored Paul Manafort, spied on him, surveilled him, revives a news story you may have forgotten about, the Russian collusion narrative. In case you've forgotten, for several months, our country's political and media elites thundered without end that the country's government had been overthrown. Our government had been overthrown by Vladimir Putin. Here's memory lane for you.
It looks like the FBI does have evidence that there was collusion between Trump campaign members and Russian operatives.
When the story is, again, possibly collusion between Trump associates and Russia.
It's a country who attacked us in the last election. And it's a country where Donald Trump and people on his team have very deep personal, political, and financial ties.
I'm bothered by our country being compromised by a #1 foreign adversary in collusion with our president.
How severe is our problem with Russia? Listen to Morgan Freeman describe it. Watch.
We have been attacked. We are at war.
Juan Williams hosts The Five out of New York every night, and he joins us tonight. Juan, it's great to see you.
Glad to be with you.
So, look, I think you're a reasonable person, and I think it's fair to ask questions about Russia. But now that Morgan Freeman, whom I believe instinctively, and I think most Americans do, has declared that we're at war with Russia, how many troops should we send to Moscow, would you say? More or fewer than Napoleon sent?
Well, I tell you, it's a different time because I think the kind of war that's being conducted against us is obviously a cyber war type of attack, and I think there's not much debate about it. I saw today when our new Trump administration nominee to be ambassador to Russia said without a doubt they tried to interfere in our election.
Yeah, there's not much debate about it, and I would think as a civil libertarian you'd be bothered by that. I know that I am. We're taking all of this on faith from the intelligence agencies, from unseen people with agendas we don't know much about. We've seen this before in a bunch of different conflicts throughout American history where we're lied to repeatedly, and to take their assurances on faith, as we're all doing, seems nuts to me. Why would you join in that?
Oh, because I think there's so many of them. I mean, initially, what we heard, and I don't know how you feel, but from Jim Clapper, Director of National Intelligence, as well as from FBI and Justice Department officials, that there was a clear consensus of all the intelligence agencies, not just one, that, in fact, Russia had aggressively sought to interfere and succeeded in interfering in the 2016 election.
Is that the same Jim Clapper who also assured us under oath that the NSA was not spying on America? Oh, the liar, Jim Clapper.
I anticipated you saying that, but I don't think
it's such an obvious follow-up.
Clapper's integrity overall. So,
it raises significant questions, but here's what it does. Look, maybe he's right.
Because it's not just Clapper, it's all of these people. So I have respect for our intelligence community. I think they do a terrific job, and I don't think they have any political motive, but you suggest that somehow they're part of the swamp, I guess.
That's entirely silly. I mean, that they have you're from here. You don't look in the camera and say they have no political motives. Of course they do. And by the way, they've done good work in some cases. In other cases, like predicting the fall of the Soviet Union or 9/11, they haven't done good work. So it's a mixed bag. But I'm merely saying this. Why shouldn't we have more evidence?
Tucker, Justice Department, Trump's own Justice Department, has said there's no evidence, they could find no evidence that, in fact, he or Trump Tower had been wiretapped. And that came out just a few weeks ago. So if there's a political motivation, as you suggest, you would think that a Trump Justice Department would come to some conclusion that's more in line with the idea that Trump's tweet back in March was accurate.
Possibly,
they said no.
though look, that stuff happens, as you know, and my only point is, again and again, I'm an American citizen, and so before you bring me to war, along with Morgan Freeman, I want some evidence. So the U.S. government never examined, the FBI never examined the servers at the Democratic National Committee. And yet, as you know, so I'm only saying, and I would think liberals would join me in saying that, again, before we go to war, why don't you show me one piece of evidence that the government of Russia was involved in hacking the DNC computers? And they have not given us one. Why aren't we demanding it? That's my question. Why are we nodding in this bovine way? They told us this, it must be true. Why would we respond that way?
Well, I don't think that it's a matter of they told us. Again, to my mind, it's a matter of, do you have trust in your intelligence agencies? And I do. And secondly, are they in agreement? Is there somebody standing outside and saying, no, you know, I see it a little differently? Is it the case that Mike Pompeo, now at CIA, Trump's nominee, says, I don't know? Is it the case that Jeff Sessions, now at Justice, says, I don't know? No, to the contrary, they say no evidence that Obama ever wiretapped Trump.
So, no, but on the Russia thing, so basically you're saying if all the kids agree on something, I don't know, Pop Rocks will kill you if you drink it with Coke, or what Bubble Yum's made of spider eggs. If all the kids agree that it must be true,
no.
Like, what is this anyway? I'm an adult. Remember, show me the evidence.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, I think that we can ask for evidence. Once the intelligence reports are made public, we'll have them. But that's not the question at the table. If that's the standard, then there's lots of things we don't know that President Trump knows as President of the United States, and I respect that. But I'm not going to sit here and be a sucker and say, oh, gee, because I haven't seen the details myself, I doubt now the entire intelligence community, the entire Justice Department. I just think that's, in fact, given that Mike Pompeo is the CIA, I'd have to doubt Mike Pompeo and all of CIA. That's a bit much.
I don't know. Let me just say one thing, a compliment to you. I remember back, 15 years ago when the weapons of mass destruction stuff was being touted as irrefutable. Oh, yeah. And you and a lot of other liberals said, well, gee, I kind of like a little bit more evidence. And I kind of laughed at you. I wish I hadn't laughed at you. I'm serious. And I apologize for doing that because I think trust but verify. I was with you then. I was with you then,
there you
Juan,
go.
in retrospect. Great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Tucker.